one Florida man seemed to believe giving a fake name to the police was a genius tactic when he was pulled over for a cracked windscreen. Having lost his license due to a DUI and with an outstanding warrant for aggravated battery out against him, the novice criminal gave a made-up name to the officer. But when the officer pulled up the details associated with that fake name, the criminal mastermind's plan fell apart. Why? Well, it just so happened that the name he plucked out of thin air was actually a real person with a very real DUI of their own. So the officer took the alias master to the station, where his real identity was eventually revealed. Giving his real name didn't make much difference, though, because he was prosecuted not only for his pre-existing warrant, but for driving without a license and obstructing the course of justice. Scoot him up. While illegally riding his electric scooter along the sidewalk in July 2019, a Chicago resident collided with a pedestrian and sped off without remorse. In the wake of the unusual hit and run, the police were called, and they'd soon track down the two-wheeled fiend. However, when the police flashed their lights and siren to get the scooter rider to pull over, a man driving his car mistakenly assumed the signal was for him. The mistaken driver then pulled over to the edge of the road and, not seeing the scooter scoundrel, accidentally struck him down. Indirectly, justice was served to the scooter scoundrel in the form of a lengthy hospital stay, followed by a citation for riding a scooter on the sidewalk. Although I'd say being seen riding a scooter in public is punishment enough. What's your beef? In school, there's always that one kid whose only personality trait is being as much of a jerk to as many people as possible. Unfortunately, those kids usually get away with it somehow, but not the kid in this clip from 2016. While his friend discusses the schedule for a farmer's market with a local news interviewer, the kid in question gets a little slap-happy with a couple of the cows in the background. His inexplicable episode of animal annoyance doesn't last long, luckily, as while the cows don't seem too troubled by the boy's antics, they do teach him a lesson. Squashed together by the comparatively huge animals, the boy has no choice but to wait out his punishment until the cows finally release him. His rescue assistant seems tired of his shenanigans, as if this kind of nonsense is a daily occurrence, and his friend doesn't even turn around. It's a simple lesson, but one I hope this mean-spirited whippersnapper learned. Don't mess with animals that are around 10 times your size. Shake some tail feather. If you've ever spent time around peacocks, you'll know how infuriating their noisy cries can become. However, that's not a justification to steal one that doesn't belong to you. But in Miami in 2018, one fellow, either through annoyance at the noise or a desire to possess his own brightly feathered companion, stole a neighbor's peacock straight out of their yard. Captured on CCTV, the man pulls up, grabs the bird, and makes a break for it. But karma wouldn't let him get away that easily. Almost immediately, the other birds in the yard give chase, driving the man off the property and following him down the road. No doubt delivering buttocks pecks aplenty. Granted, he did escape, but with a plumage pursuit like that, it's unlikely he'll be making a return anytime soon. And seeing as the street's other residents reportedly view the noisy peacocks as a nuisance, he may have even done them a favor. Maybe in this case, karma is less black and white and more blue and green. Bad eggs. In April 2018 in Widnes, England, a couple of bored young men began pelting passers-by with coins from the safety of their first-floor council flat balcony. But when another couple of gentlemen visiting the town caught wind of the antisocial activities taking place, they thought up the perfect form of vigilante justice. Caught on camera with the aim of world-class professionals, the Knights of Karma began launching eggs at the gormless troublemakers. After a series of near misses, the balcony bandits make a dishonorable retreat, but not before one of the vigilantes unleashes the shot of a lifetime, curving the egg around the closing door for one final eggy impact. Instant justice. Best served sunny side up. Thieving on the road. When a Facebook user picked up a hitchhiker out of the kindness of their heart, they didn't expect a grand display of gratitude in return. But they didn't expect to be stolen from either, though that's exactly what the hitchhiker had in mind. When they arrived at the hitchhiker's destination, the free rider hastily departed and was out of sight before the driver realized they'd stolen his cigarettes. That is certainly an unusual way to say thanks, but karma had a punishment lined up and ready to go. When the driver looked into the bed of his truck, he noticed the hitchhiker had left something behind. It was their bag containing their phone, toiletries, clothes, address book, a few coins, and some sentimental-looking items. Deciding against seeking out the hitchhiker to return his only worldly possessions, the driver wrote it off as a fair deal. The deal being, that the thief had traded everything they owned for 18 cigarettes. Back in your lane. In this next clip, Predator Dizzy Desi demonstrates what it means to keep a cool head in the face of dangerous drivers. Cruising along a Texas highway, an impatient driver attempts to force his way into her lane, but soon learns that a bold move like that requires the skills to follow up. Despite initiating the incident, the other driver loses control while Dizzy Desi stands her ground and expertly maneuvers her vehicle to safety. Miraculously, despite the antagonistic driver spinning out into oncoming traffic, no one was hurt. Hopefully, though, that knucklehead driver learned a valuable lesson about trying to intimidate on a busy highway, especially when Dizzy Desi's around. Jaywalk of shame. On a morning like any other, driving around Hamilton, Ontario, a dashcam user captured some ultra-satisfying instant karma, the likes of which the world has never seen. A man pedestrian decides he's king of the road while jaywalking and launches a game of chicken in a busy street. Never the mark of a genius, but he doesn't back down and appears to smugly believe his dominance has been fully asserted. That's until any speck of dignity comes crumbling down a second later when he walks directly into a pole. Walk that one off, buddy, and maybe look where you're going next time. Donkey versus doofus. An unfortunate trend since the early days of online video sharing has been the tendency of people with a lack of brain cells to film themselves messing with animals. But thankfully, every once in a while, someone captures the moment when the animals turn the tables. Just like this dim-witted young man who captured himself drunkenly clambering into a donkey's pen on a dare in 2019. Despite his friend receiving a warning bite after a few moments teasing. Ow, mother... you bit my finger! The genius climbs, or more accurately falls, right into the fenced-off area. Almost immediately, the donkey shows who these drunken fools have been messing with and goes full-blown attack mode on the man. Despite his small size, the donkey has a hell of a bite, and he's not afraid to use it. Eventually, with some help, the shamed fellow makes a cowardly escape, all while the donkey gives a loud warning against returning. I'm pretty sure that's donkey talk for who's the jackass now, punk. Take it or leave it. When an Ohio man went to unlock his car one evening in 2017, he didn't expect to find it looking like this. It was immediately clear that someone had broken in, stealing whatever they could get their hands on inside. While a break-in is never a nice thing to discover, the car owner's anger soon turned to laughter as he made an unexpected discovery under the front seat. It was a wallet, complete with an ID card and even a church membership card belonging to none other than the thief himself. Having dropped it during the theft, the thief made the police's job very easy, though that wouldn't be alleviating his sentencing all that much. Here's hoping he had time for one last visit to his beloved faith mission to atone before his extended stint inside the slammer. A gripping crime. When you're a robber, keeping a hold on the situation at hand is top priority. But in 2018, a bumbling criminal couldn't even keep a grip on his weapon when trying to rob an e-cigarette store in Colorado. CCTV captured the shady-looking man entering the store and approaching the till, where he attempts to pull out his gun to intimidate the owner, and drops it immediately. Initially, he tries to retrieve the gun and continue the robbery, but he soon gives up and flees, leaving his weapon at the scene. The cherry on the karmic cake comes as he flees when his pants fall down in true comic fashion. With the weapon later found to be a BB gun abandoned at the scene, tracking down the world's worst robber wouldn't prove too difficult for the cops. But the real punishment is the online immortalization of his truly embarrassing failure. Trash among trash. Sometimes it falls to the public to administer justice on the small scale, and the punishments people come up with have no end of creativity. Nothing exemplifies this more than one Chinese street sweeper who grew sick of a particular driver making his job difficult by parking illegally in a spot that obstructed his work. As revenge, the sweeper surrounded the driver's car in 42 heavy, filled to the brim trash cans. Getting that car free would be no easy feat, and the whole thing was sure to kick up a stink for that inconsiderate owner. Willpower. One thing that sets humans apart from other animals is that most of us know not to explore potentially dangerous spaces head first. But if you make a head-first investigation into a hole in a tree trunk, one of the most common hideouts for woodland creatures, simple stupidity evolves into a rude intrusion. One tree-dwelling porcupine, though, made quick work of an intruder who decided to stick his face into the critter's home. His no-entry warning came in the form of approximately 100 pointy, barbed, and incredibly painful reminders that if you play stupid games, you'll win stupid prizes. raging ricochet. A sad fact is that all too often there's not much that can prevent someone committed to a deadly mission from carrying it out. But in London in September 2019, karma stepped in and turned the tables on a would-be killer in an unbelievable way. A man had taken it upon himself to carry out a hit against an adversary, and when he spotted his target in their car, he sprung into lethal action. With gun in hand, he approached the vehicle, took aim, and fired. The bullet flew with deadly speed toward the driver's window, but by some miracle, ricocheted off straight back at the man who fired it. The gunman died of his wounds soon afterwards, while the driver was left thinking just about every god he could think of for this seemingly divine intervention of karma. It seems what goes around really does come back around. Sometimes even bullets. Do you have any crazy karma tales of your own to share? Send them across to karma@beamazed.com.
Peace.